It's 10 o'clock. We call Sawyer County Administrative Committee meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call a roll, please.
Ron Kinsley.
Here.
Ron Buckholz.
Here.
Tom Duffy. John Righeimer.
Here.
Stacy Hessel. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Number 4, certification compliance open meeting laws.
This meeting was noticed to the media and the public as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 5 is the meeting agenda. The agenda is set. Number 6 is public comment. Ms. Zilmer.
Linda Zilmer, property owner in the town of Edgewater. And I have 3 items today. One is an agenda item regarding the public records request report, and the other 2 are non-agenda items. I'm looking on my phone at a copy of the Class 2 notice as it appears into this week's Sawyer County Record. And item after item says, please call or stop at the zoning office for more information. And it lists that on several items, and that has been past practice. So you may have all been aware of maybe some recent communications where I tried to do that, and it was about things that are not specific to a certain application, but to zoning ordinances that affect all towns, such as the proposed camping cabin, or what is the red line draft coming out of the MDD ad hoc that will significantly address the inconsistencies in the ordinance. And when I cannot stop at a window and follow what is the public's expectations, then yes, I communicated. And I'm sorry if I ruffled anybody's feathers, but I did talk to the parties that I talked with. The other thing is, before I did write my email, I looked at your county board policies, and that is something that's missing, but I understand that that is being addressed, that there will be a policy so that the public can understand what they're supposed to do. Apostle Island resolution. In addition to Northwest Regional Planning, at the past meeting of the Sawyer County unit of the Wisconsin Towns Association, the representative for Senator Johnson was there, and he said that the senator has not taken a position on it. And there was considerable commentary, I think, from town officials that they are not in support of it, and did cite some of the things that were mentioned at Northwest Regional Planning Commission's report on tourism and outdoor recreation, is that communities are a capacity. And I think that's something here that Sawyer County needs to recognize and admit as well. And thirdly, regarding to the source of much of the controversy that seems to be resulted in that letter from Atolls to me, the county, Sawyer County, does not have a policy or process to address concerns or complaints regarding public services. Washburn County has been working very diligently on that because of a very similar situation. And there are a couple people in this room that might be very familiar with the resignation of the former chair of their zoning committee, who was having difficulty with situations with public with the zoning administrator's response to public concerns. And you might want to look into what's going on there, because at least in Washburn County, someone made an attempt to address the problems and get the zoning committee on the right track. And it wasn't about taking out frustrations or trying to scapegoat the public. So in Washburn County, they have a series of steps under their county administrative coordinator, depending on whether it is a concern with a department staff, whether it was a department head or an elected official, or in the case of Sawyer County, you might also want to consider whether it's a concern with the county administrator, who the county board has delegated authorities kind of even beyond what the statutory authorities are. So right now, in a different legal letter, I was told that if I have any concerns or complaints, I have to address it through the ethics complaint process, which is very limited in scope. And I did try that out, and it just proved that most common everyday concerns that's not the proper avenue, and it's not efficient to use legal resources to do that. So I will be following up in writing to the Atolls letter. And I think the other thing that besides misrepresenting the facts and the situations, I don't think that it was fair that comments were made about other people and inaccurate comments at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody online? Number 7, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting of June 12th.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Righeimer, second by Mr. Duffy to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 8, county clerk report.
Good morning. Let me get to my notes and then do this. Okay, so, well, first I'll start with this. So we've been busy. I don't have the number of dog licenses, but this is the dollar amount. There's a lot, we're in the late fee period, which is statutory now, so people have to pay $30 for missing the deadline. So we see quite a bit of late fees. Marriage licenses have been busy. It's the season for marriages. We have a great thing going. We've got the judges and we've got Ward Winton that we can help people. And also Pastor Gary across the street. When people come and they want to get married and they didn't plan anything, we can usually get it done for them. So that's good. Plat books are selling. Most of the election fees have been paid. Now there's one town that still hasn't paid, but everyone else is caught up. So I went to the WCCA conference, that's the County Clerks Association in New Glarus. WEC was there, Megan Wolf and the top WEC staff were there. They did a huge discussion of legal issues that have been passed before the WEC committee and the legislature. One thing they're working on as a lobbying group is there's a bill before the legislature that's going to require town clerks to be open for 20 hours during the absentee voting, in-person voting time frame. So those 14 days before an election, someone in a bill wants to see towns open, and where the town clerks are part-time, they're only there a couple hours, a day here, a day there. So it's going to be pretty hard all across the state for municipal clerks to staff an office at that kind of hourly requests. So WCCA has been opposing that and trying to act on behalf of the clerks. So that's happening. And the other thing is that the executive order for election security addressed issues with QR code technology and machines. And 13 out of 21 towns in Sawyer have this ICX machine, which is a touch screen that uses QR codes. So WEC is going to have to decertify those in the next year or two. So Command Central, who sold all the machines to us, has stepped up and they're going to do a one-time swap of the ICE machine, which is a tabulator. It's paper ballots. So theoretically, a town could still hand count those. They don't have to run them through the tabulator. They could fill it in and then hand count if you had a real small town. For towns that want to do that, they still could. But that machine right now retails for $9,000 and the ICX was $3,900. So it's a pretty big upgrade that they're going to do for free just for the cost of delivering it here. That's happening. I've worked with Command Central already on that. But the towns are going to have to understand it and go along with it. And they all have to agree or else we can't, no one will get that for free. Village of Coudray lost their clerk treasurer, and I got a call from Department of Revenue on the deadline for the MOE requirement, which was July 1st. If you didn't file that on time, and that's for fire protection and emergency services, if you didn't file that, they're going to dock shared revenues by 15% in the coming year. So I convinced the DOR guy to let me file it on their behalf because they didn't have a clerk, and half of it was me anyway because the EL3 or SL309 is John Fromel's ambulance certification. And then we did some digging from last year and saw who their fire department was, and he had current SL308s on file for the other towns that have that fire department, so he was willing to cooperate. So we got that done. I haven't been able to get in touch with Gene Goen, who's the village president, but at least we saved them $11,000. Annual veteran graves letter went out. That's all Gary does, all the work for that. Gary and Nicole, they do a really good job with that. But those go out to the towns with cemeteries and they get a reimbursement. And the records requests and Lake District lawsuit have been taking up most of the time in our department this month. So then on to next request. It's about 1 year now since we've been using this. And It's not the greatest program, and Mike Colson asked if we want to renew it, we have to make a decision. It's $5,000 to renew it, and they also kind of baited and switched us with the online payment portal, which now they want us to pay $3,000 plus, I think it's another $1,300 for a setup fee or something, for more software just to be able to take payments online, to be able to use it that way. So that's $9,000 now, pretty much. I looked at this report. I don't know if this means anything to you guys, or if you look at this, this is the one that prints out generically. To me, this isn't very valuable. So I did a different report, and I think this is a little easier to see. So this is in 1 year, the volume that we have tracked of records requests. So the sheriff's department is at 273. They don't like using it. Desiree has concerns about their statutory conflicts with privacy issues and those kind of things with redaction. I've had 50, HHS has had 30. Those are mostly TRHs, TRH lists they want. And then the rest you can see. So we're paying $9,000 a year to track this, basically. And so I don't know if anyone has input on this or you need more information. There's all kinds of reports like this that I can put different parameters in to get. So if anyone wants to see this data a different way, maybe let me know and I can pull that. But we have 60 days to make the decision if we want to renew it. So that's all I have there. Do you have any questions?
Originally, we had requested, and I believe Ms. Fitch was doing it manually, like how you just showed on your second 1 year review. And she requested to go to the website, I believe. Is that correct? Do you guys remember? Is anybody awake? Okay. But she requested it to go digitally as with this service. Do you remember, Mike? Am I speaking at?
No, you're right. I
Okay.
think it was in response to the manual record keeping and all the departments involved. We kind of thought that the software would help with that. It just turns out that just because of the workflow, the volume really is concentrated in the sheriff's department. The workflow of the software does add a number of steps that we didn't have to do for manually tracking. And even when the departments get involved, they end up going through Liz. So I think it ends up causing more work for the clerk's department. I think we kind of discussed it. It looked like if we were, for larger counties with a lot more requests and they could have been centralized, it would have been beneficial. I think it just turned out for our particular use, it adds overhead, but really either neutral or no real benefit. That's kind of the employee for the people that have been using it.
Right. So is this an action item we can take to dissolve, or do we have to put it on the agenda for next month?
I mean, is it even a board decision? I'm the record custodian by statute. So this is just a piece of software in my budget or in the IT budget of whether we use it or not. It's almost up to me if I use it or not. All of these went through me. This is all my work.
I think just originally it was a board decision. So that's the only reason
Yeah.
I ask, is that originally it was something that we had asked to be tracked. It wasn't just the open records, but it was the time in each agency.
Yeah, that's
like
not
things like
working.
that.
That's not working to track that, because in order for it to work, the person entering it has to literally track all of that and enter it into next request. They're not doing it. That's a meaningless report. I looked at several spreadsheets and it just doesn't track it at all. The people are doing an estimate of how long they think it's going to take, and they're invoicing the people ahead. And that's the other thing, no one's paying. We've got $900 out of $3,600 billed back. So it's not working to generate revenue. It's not making people pay. So, and the time is just an estimate, but no one's actually entering their actual time unless they're invoicing, like Sheriff's Department is doing that because they were already doing that. But most of the staff isn't really doing that. A lot of people are just doing it for free. Like most of mine, I've just responded for free because it takes like 30 seconds. If they want to know something, I can look it up and answer. That's easier than going all through all the steps of putting it all in there to track that I used 30 seconds.
So from what I recall from when we were discussing it previously, was that, and I'm sorry, I didn't.
That's all right, okay.
But was that it was more of the fact that we had some bad apples that were taking a lot of time for the agencies. And so we were trying to monitor that and see what the cause and effect and what the cost was of the county. Not necessarily wanting to add it to anybody's plate, but if it was taking away valuable employee time, then that was what we wanted to evaluate. So is there any way to still evaluate if there are, even if it's a handful of bad apples that are taking that time away from the services that our agencies are supposed to supply besides just open records?
Yeah, because if you look at this, this doesn't show that that's happening. That's not being done by open records.
Yeah, because it wasn't a revenue generator. That was not the case. It was just to keep track of, hey, let's alert, what can we do if
Well,
there's.
so if you're talking about zoning had 7 public record requests in the last year. That's hardly any that are in here.
Okay.
So this doesn't really show that. I mean, I think what you're talking about is more in the form of emails and phone calls and personal interactions.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's not a way to track that, correct?
Only if the person was assigned to the task of having to always journal that.
And that would take more time probably than.
Yeah, and you're multitasking because you might be in a Zoom meeting when something's happening and, it's hard to track that. But if you wanted that tracked, that would be a specific request. But this isn't the tool for that,
Okay,
for $9,000 a year,
no,
is what I think what we've determined.
yeah, no, I think you're correct on that.
I think Liz has been doing this and we should just let her do it at her discretion and see where it goes. I mean, you're already doing it. You got the time to do it. So let's just keep going in this way with it.
Can you clarify, do you mean to take away to have her do it manually instead of doing it through the IT department?
The way she's been doing it now.
Well, I'm using Next Request now. I just ran this report different. So how it works now is when I get emails all day long, every time someone makes a record request, it sends an email to me, and then I distribute the request to the right department. So when I get a record request for TRHs in town of Hayward, I send that to Matt McKay. But it all still goes through me because I'm the point of contact originally, and all the sheriffs go through me too. So I'm seeing all of those. Like if we stopped doing this, I would never see another sheriff's department because that's them. They're doing their own. That's not us. So that would eliminate 273 things I'm doing a year because I can't answer the sheriff's department ones. I just send them to Desiree.
So by eliminating this technology, it saves them $9,000 and it's not effective is what.
Well, then, yeah, I guess that's the way we would want to go then, if we can save money.
Yeah, it would save money. And the thing is, I'm still getting all the requests like in my email, and I would just let someone know, Register of Deeds, or what it used to be is they would get them directly. So what you would want to do here, Mike and I talked about this. We would need to have a department head meeting, and we would need to tell the staff that when you get a records request, make a folder for it and drag stuff over there so that when you have to give a report, you can say how many records requests did you get this month. That way or they could send it to me and we could do this same listing. But that way we can still track them, but it would just be the courthouse and it wouldn't be all the sheriff's department and all those.
Yeah. I would say we could do it that way, and you've been doing it. I guess, Mike, one of my questions is though, who all sees these requests? I mean, does everybody see them? Who all
No,
sees the sheriff's departments?
only the person who made the request, unless someone makes a public record request for the public records requests. So public records requests are a public record, but you would have to make a request to specifically see them. Someone could say, I would like to see all the public record requests for zoning in the year 2024. And then someone could answer that question. A person would be able to request that. But otherwise, no one sees them. They're not published to everybody. The whole staff isn't seeing each other's, and they're not published to the public unless it serves us to publish them. Like the TRH list, some of those are published because we can tell someone that's already there, go look at it.
And there's already measures in place that once it gets to a certain point, you do build them though, correct?
Yeah, so the statute is under $50, you can't require prepayment, but if it's gonna be several $100s, like some of them are, you let the person know, hey, this is gonna cost a lot, what you're asking for. Do you still want it? Which form do you want it? Do you want printed copies? Do you want it digitally? That's all something you work out. And most people, if they want something big, they offer to pay for it upfront. They'll say, I know I'm gonna have to pay. It's gonna be,
And when does it become so many requests that it becomes a public nuisance or a harassment?
there's no such
There's
thing as
nothing.
that, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Good. Thank you. Number 9, Veteran Service Report.
Hey, good morning. So for the month of June, we had 479 phone calls, 789 letters, emails, and faxes, and 251 office visits. Workload perspective from last year, we had 503 calls, 625 letters, and 207 office visits. For disability compensation and pension claims, last month we filed 88 disability claims and, or had a total of 88 disability claims, and we had retroactive payment by the end of the month of $239,457.47 for claims decided in the veteran's favor. And as far as 2024 goes, as a comparison, it was 115 claims and retro payment of $167,935.71. As far as our La Crosse Vet Center, we co-managed and hosted 2 individual counseling sessions and 1 group counseling session. It was the 4th, let's see, excuse me, outreach coffee and conversation with Gary Nicole continues. As far as our social media recap, we had 196 followers. We went up 11, 664 visits. That went down 59%, and 77 contact interactions, and that was down 46.2%. And 3,383 views, and that was down 36.8%. Our training remains up to date. We're going to be out of office tomorrow. We're headed to Eau Claire for some training, and we'll be back on Monday. As far as Liz brought this up, but perpetual care of graves, by statute, it's the clerk's office that is to manage that. However, Sawyer County, the Veteran Service Office has been doing it for I don't know how many CVSOs back. So we sent that out 1st of July. The window opens where cemeteries may apply for care of graves at $4 per person. And that window is open from, like I said, the 1st of July, and it is closed on 1 September. So we budget around $7,000 a year for that. We keep ticking up a little closer to that, but we haven't broke it. We'll see how things come out this year to whether I need to come to the board and ask for an increase for perpetual care graves for the county. And we've already had 1 applicant in. The city of Hayward, Miss Poppy is on it. I always get it on the 1st, no matter what. So, which is awesome. But so Greenwood's taken care of, and we go from there. Any questions?
I have a question. You said for the graves, it's $4.
Right.
You have to ask the county for increase today?
Pardon me?
You have to ask the county for increase? What'd you say that, please?
Yeah, so by state statute, the county has a perpetual care of graves where we set the rate. We set the rate. There's different counties have different rates. It's been $4 per grave. And I don't know how long that's been in effect, to be honest with you. I don't know when that became law as far as the perpetual care goes, but so each cemetery it's not private cemeteries either. It's cemetery organizations, I guess, if they go defunct, the towns get the responsibility to take care of it. But if the veteran was not contracted to have that mowed, when they purchased that plot, then the cemetery can apply. So normally, we get Stone Lake, Coudray, Radisson, Winter, both cemeteries, the Catholic Church and the town of, city of Winter, town of Winter, city of Winter. So they all get this notices. I send it to Liz. She sends it out to because the clerks in the counties or in the townships are always changing, or not always, but several changes. So she's got the updated list. We just craft the letter, send it to Liz. Liz fires it out to the cemeteries and the townships. So, and that's how they know. And every year it doesn't change. It's always 1 July to.
But just to recap, is you're reimbursing each township for the number of headstones that are available in their cemetery, correct?
For the number of
Right.
veterans in that cemetery.
Right.
Mhm.
Thank you for explaining.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anybody else have questions for him?
Thank you, Gary. Keep up the good work.
Number 10, information technology report.
Morning. So mostly, almost all just internal requests, keeping lights on, departments up and running. The capital improvement fund we had for this year was replacing and upgrading our wireless access points, because wireless internet now is pretty much required for business, not just a luxury. So we're in the process of doing that. Other than that, just the usual service requests that come in from departments. Unless there's any questions, that's it.
Thank you for all you do to keep it running smooth.
Thanks.
Number 11, human resource report. Rose online or? Okay. Here's provided a written report. Anybody have any questions or anything you want to highlight?
The only thing I would add is, as I mentioned last month, we're having really good response to our postings now. Last night at Public Works, John Pino mentioned that he has an opening at the highway. He's got 16 applicants already. So it's
How many?
16.
Wow.
Yeah, much better than 3 years ago when I got here.
There was a time we'd get 100 at the highway department.
Yeah,
And then there was
sure,
a
yeah.
time that we'd get 1 or 2.
Mhm.
So it's coming back up. Yes, that is good news. Thank you.
Janitors are okay.
Pardon?
I think they're fully staffed. There's, well, up there, one sheriff is on light duty, but I think we're pretty good at the sheriff's department.
Number 12, Sawyer County Housing Authority appointment. Discussion, possible action. Mike Stamp is currently serving on the board and it's a 5-year term. What you got to add, my friend?
Yeah, we don't control the Sawyer County Housing Authority, but it's statutory that we have to approve the appointments. Mike Stamp's term is up. He would like to run again or serve again, and they would like to have him. So this would go through July 19th of 2030 if approved.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve Mike Stamps to a 5-year term on the Sawyer County Housing Authority.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Ms. Hessel to approve the Mike Stamp reappointment. Any discussion? Hearing none. Yep.
I was gonna say, he was probably appointed as Shell Lake State Bank, but he has switched to Franson Bank. Just for those people that don't know him, he's now the representative for Franson Bank.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
All in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 13, Sawyer County Administrator Report.
All right, so there's been a lot of activity. This is a busy time, changeover with me taking over, and then budget season's coming up, or we're right in the middle of it, and just a lot of other things going on. Really good stuff. I'll be calling my first department head meeting, and I'm going to change the format a little bit and seek some input. And also, what I'd like to do is a little segment of professional development at each one, just to get us all on the same page and coach everybody up a little bit. One thing I did notice is that we have a policy for evaluations. Hasn't necessarily been done, so I've working on forms for that for both department heads and for staff, for department heads to use with staff. So bring that up for discussion, have some forms prepared for discussion that they can look at and give me some feedback on that. And I guess that's about all there. Economic development, went to the Northwest Regional Planning Commission annual meeting a couple weeks ago. That was really good. Heard a nice presentation from Jason, who was their deputy director over there, and that was on tourism. And he did a very nice job presenting it. He talked about what it brings to our communities, not just Sawyer County, but the whole region they represent, but also the challenges that it brings as well. And you know, we talk about tourism a lot, we talk about housing a lot, and the wages for people in hospitality, and we've got nearly 1,000, I believe, is $35,000. Well, a couple months ago, we talked about what houses cost, what the average Sawyer County family income is. That's even worse. The average family income is $57,000. You get down to $35,000, and the affordability is really lacking then. Obviously, a lot of people in hospitality are students living with their parents or second jobs, but still, it just continues. I talk about housing all the time, every meeting we're at. It's really on the forefront of everything we do here in Sawyer County. A lot of it, when you get right down to it, it's a challenge that we're facing with constantly. Finance, the budgets are due at the end of the month, CIP's due at the end of the month, and there are a few departments that have all their stuff in already, not a lot at this point, but they have 3 weeks left to get that in, so I'm not concerned at this point. It's a very challenging time, but it's very rewarding for me too, to get everything to come together and so we get the services we need and make people as happy as we can with the outcome. Strategic planning, been working on that. I've met a couple times with Ariga. This last time met with Ariga and Carl Green, who is he specializes in this. The reason we started meeting with him as well is I asked for kind of an alternate which would seek more input than maybe we've done in the past. And I don't know how the admin committee feels about that as an option, but greater input from the Sawyer County community, not maybe just ourselves, to kind of guide where we're going, take that information and wrap our plan around that. So I will continue those discussions that route if you guys are okay with that, or if you'd.
Question on the input, how does that get, like through a questionnaire, meeting, or?
It can be several different ways, and it can be both and. In the past, I've done questionnaires, surveys out online. Most recent one I did in Altoona was involved in, we did actually have people in the gym, and that went over very well. We had Post-it notes all over the walls, and people would, those came out of small group discussions. And then we put up what everybody came up with, and then everybody had 5 little stickies that they would put on their top
And this would
5.
be with average Joe citizen, or is it with the town boards, or?
Again, both and.
Okay.
What we had done is it was kind of targeted input. So there were staff, all the board was there, obviously, administrators, but then, people from business in the community, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and my 2 cents, I think input is good in general. I think sometimes it can, like, fine line between good and like taking on, you didn't listen to me, confusing the input with you do what I say. And I'm just thinking out loud here, as we talk about like things that you're just sitting around, hey, what we hope to get done, a lot of it is out of our control, and it takes the cooperation from the towns. And so that would be my 2 cents. But if we can get them, I hate the word educated, but like this is like the scope, and get them kind of in the
Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I was gonna say that you almost have to guide it a little bit because we are restricted with what we could control. And also monetarily, if someone says, well, we need to do this, it's gonna cost $50 million, that would be a challenge for the county. But
By quick trip, you know.
1.2.
1.5.
So I guess I'm asking for a little direction if you would like to continue down that route or scale back or.
I think it's good if you get all the leads, like the school, the hospital, and then also reach out to the school. You could also use the auditorium for that if that's needed. If you have as many people as I think you're gonna have, and economic development, obviously, so.
Mhm.
You're saying towns are an obvious one, I think, right? The town boards or chairs of those boards to get
Oh.
their input, and the hospital and the schools. And then what about, I mean, go back to that social media post. I mean, you get a lot of stuff, right? With the parking lot question.
Well, that's why I think you'd want to limit.
I think
because
you want to kind of try to shy away from that type of. Is that what you're saying, that you wouldn't invite like open meeting at the auditorium for any citizen? It'd be like hospital people, school.
Well, you
Town
definitely
chairs.
would invite or keep it open. You could keep it open to the public. We did that with our, with our building. But you're going to get the people that are invested, not just the opinion piece. So it's a lot different than being a social media warrior. It's actually going to a meeting and being in person and taking that effort. So I think you can invite whoever you want, but I think the people that are the main focus people that actually want something to happen and are driven to make it happen because it affects their business are going to be the ones that are going to be there, such as the hospital, the schools, the economic development director, people like that, and the town chairs, because they want to make sure that the whole county succeeds. But I do think that, to open it to the public wouldn't be bad because you're not going to get
That's what I was after. Town boards are in essence representing the people. So that's how their input's taken. So
sometimes they're representing themselves, it seems. But I think it's obvious that you would want everybody involved because we're a big county and I think what they need in winter, what people need in Exland is different than maybe what people need in Stone Lake. So I think you want to make sure everybody's heard. It just, the people that are going to attend, you can invite the whole world, but the people are going to attend are the people that are actually the difference makers, right? So that's what we learned when we were doing our referendum pieces. We did like 12 sessions and only the same 12 people showed up. So, I mean, I think kudos to you for thinking outside of the box and not just thinking of the board is what I'm trying to say.
All right.
That's a lot.
In hearing that, then I'll come forward next month with some structure and ideas for that, and we'll want to get going then probably in September.
That would be good because we've gone through this before and it's been a long time and we're due to have it again. And that's the right thing to do is move forward with it. But I also keep in mind, there's 15 board members here that are representing them areas. I don't want to go into a meeting with a lot of public there and we have to listen to each one. So I'm interested in how you want to break it down.
Yeah.
So the more information you can bring for us to absorb how to break it down would be great.
Yeah. The open portion can be pretty prescripted. And then if we break into groups, that's where people can voice their individual. And then that's, if we did how I've done it before, then that stuff gets on the wall. And then it's up to the people to kind of pick. And then from there, we bring that information back and then consolidate it down to our top 5 or 6, and really probably for the first year, top 2 or 3 that we really think we could tackle. If you get it too big, you can't accomplish all the tasks. You keep it narrow, focused, and get something done. But it's a 2-phase, and then you also have the long term that can have more items, but the immediate ones you want fairly focused.
UW Extension presented it for us when we did it before, not that things change, and they should change because the world is changing. But, I think we started with categories, and what it boiled down to is which is the most important category, and not that anybody else is
Mhm.
less important, but that's so. So yes, I'm willing to learn more. I want to
Yeah.
learn more before we actually do it. We also got to start getting some of this in front of the board because time is going by. I don't know if we're wasting time, but the time is ticking away, and we're 6, 7 months away from like a new board too.
All right. We'll get on it. Airport, little update there. They really got the runway done quickly. There will be the grooving happening starting Saturday, I believe. And that will take potentially up to a week, grooving and painting.
The grooming is gonna be done at night, so if board members get complaints and stuff, this is already set up to be done at night. Thank you.
All right. The Veterans Tribute, I am working with SEH out of Eau Claire to get the environmental testing done. Took a while to get someone who could do that, but they're willing to work with us. The contracts for service, I've gotten a couple back from 25. For 26 going forward, I actually would like to tie the funding to a signed contract for those so that there is a little teeth to the contract, which is I think what we were looking for. I wasn't in on those initial discussions, but that's kind of what I was assuming it was for. And then connections. This takes all longer than you think it would, but I'm working on just transferring stuff over from Andy to me. I get his emails and there's all kinds of stuff, and just even getting on the website, changing that over is taking a little bit of time, but I'm working on that. I will be meeting with the new CEO of North Lakes Community Clinic on the 21st. So I'll get a little tour, meet the new CEO, and just want to make that connection and see if there's any way we can work together better, avoid duplication of services if we can, that kind of thing. And I met with Mindy Simons last week to discuss a potential working with Discover Wisconsin. I don't know if any of you have ever seen any of those videos, but that's something that I met with Mark Rose a couple times, and it's interesting and it could be a good opportunity. They have a new branch called Uniquely Wisconsin, which targets more off the beaten path type thing versus the things everybody already knows about. Been meeting with department heads individually and talking through some things. I mentioned at finance, been meeting with John Frummel and working on policy and procedures for the ambulance, and that's going well. Very receptive. His turnaround time is right away when I ask for something, and so I'm happy with that. And then I have reached out to GenCom to see exactly where we're at with the tower project, the expansion of the emergency services communication, and I'm hoping to get that soon. So that's all I've got. Any questions?
No, the only thing I'm worried about is maybe that WOJB tower.
That's one I've specifically asked about, yeah. So we're there.
And I talked to Mr. Schuman yesterday. He said, as far as it is, it's a go because the previous tribal governing board approved it. And he didn't think the new governing board would rescind it. So that's just my update on that. So
Thank you.
We didn't have to get anything in writing. That'd be nice to have something in writing from.
well, I thought when Andy was taking care of that we were supposed to get something in writing. And I thought Tweed had emailed Andy something on that.
I haven't seen it, but I can dig a little deeper and.
And I can find out more about that today out at Transit.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
But I know there was something supposed to be to get that in writing. And I know Andy and Tweed worked that all out, so we'll see.
Mhm.
Number 14, board appointment committee updates. Anybody have anything? Number 15, correspondence reports, conferences and meetings. People are all set for signed up for going down to
Sorry, I was waiting.
I will inform you that there's some forms somewhere in the clerk's office, or there was, maybe I should tell you this individually, that I did evaluations when Tom Huff was administrator. And I did it twice. The first time I did it, I had the county board members do it and the department heads do it. So all that stuff was put together and then a file one, and it was given to Tom at that time. He signed it for improvement. And then the second time I did it as just as supervisors. So if you're looking for a guide, there is a guide somewhere. So, okay, if you want to look through it, yeah. Just want to share so you'd have something.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Future agenda items. Again, if you think of something during the week, a month, and you want to add it, feel free to contact any of us, and we'll try to get it on the agenda. Anybody else have anything else?
Anything new on the carpet?
Nothing new. That's one of the connections that I've been able to make is just getting that transferred over from Andy to me, but we haven't set up a meeting yet. Nothing new. It's still, last I heard was we're looking at third to fourth quarter of really hearing anything.
I believe I heard that Bayfield County has received a payment. And that they were one of the first ones to sign up.
Yes, they were ahead of us. At least, yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Meeting adjourned.